Welcome back to Setting the Tone with Jordan. I have a good friend of mine, Tosh.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
The story of how we met is really crazy. We're going to get into it, but first, you already know how we start off every show. We are going to do a date deck card. So hopefully we don't get something that's like made
Awkward.
for husband and wife. So let's see. All right. So you're going to just like pick a card.
Okay.
One of the colors is like, it means it's like really deep.
Oh.
So like, let's just see.
I'm going to go with green to match
Okay.
my outfit.
Okay. There we go. Great.
Okay. Let me see.
Green. Okay.
I'm getting there. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Okay, let me. I think I need to ask you.
I didn't even look at it, so we good.
What's something you want to get off your chest?
What do I want to get off my chest?
Ooh.
Yo, I'm over the chase, bro, of life. I just want to chill.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do what I love, but I don't want to feel the pressure of having to chase and pursue. That's how I feel. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to be in the rat race.
I feel that.
That's kind of where I am. Like, I want to show up and do what I love, but I don't want to feel the pressure of like, if I don't do this, I'm not, like, that's how I feel. I want to get that off my chest. I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't care about followers. I don't care about posting times. I don't want to do none of that. I just want to show up and have a good time. I want to get back to the basics.
I'm literally right there with you.
Hey,
I'm right there with you. That's why we get along so great.
I think so.
Well, y'all, so this is Tosh Haynes.
Hey.
She is a professional photographer, professional community builder, speaker, author, singer. I just learned that this weekend.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Not exposing me.
Yeah. And she's a content creator. She is really, really good at what she does. And
Thank
she's taught
you.
me so many things. Let's tell them how we met.
Yeah. So I have this rule when I'm anywhere. If I see a black girl, I speak. And that's just like, I'm so used to being in rooms where I'm the only one and where I just wish somebody would like invite me in. So when I'm anywhere and I see a black girl, the rule is like, I'm going up to her. I'm going to tell her she looks bomb if she looks bomb. Like, I just want to connect. And so we were in Puerto Rico at a travel conference. It was my first travel conference. Was it yours?
It was my first travel.
It was yours? Okay. And I was sitting on the couch, and were you already sitting on the couch, or was I sitting there and you came and sat down?
No, you were already sitting there.
Okay.
And I was wearing heels. I was trying to be cute.
Yeah, I think we
And
were
my
all,
feet
that's why I
hurt.
was sitting on the couch, because I was trying to be
Yeah.
cute too. I probably had several blisters, but
Yeah.
it's for the look.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I'm
worth
saying?
it.
Always. So you sat down and I was like, she's cute. And then I was like, hey, what's your name? Like, where are you from? Is this your first time? We started talking, and it was kind of like the rest was history.
Yeah. Yeah. For
We
real.
like rocked together the whole rest of the time.
It's so funny because the way you like invited me in, I was like, she does this all the time to everyone, which you probably do.
I do.
With that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It don't stick every time though.
yeah.
Like, I'm going to always invite people in, but I'm not like looking to like be close to everyone. I just want people to feel like they're included.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you definitely did that. We just started talking and I was like, oh, dang, she knows what she's talking about. Like, she's solid. Like, and just all the things we're talking about.
No, but I do remember you saying, I'm a content creator too. So there's like kind of two responses to that. When someone's like, I'm a content creator, you're like, okay, girl. Because,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's a content creator
Yeah.
at this point. And so you were like, yeah, I'm a content creator and I'm a coach. And I was like, okay, well, what's your Instagram? And then I remember going to your Instagram and I was like, oh, she's a content creator. You had like so many followers and I was just like such a
Girl,
baby.
No, that's how I felt about you. I'm like, look at her.
But that's my thing. That's what I hate about this whole thing, right? Because now what we're doing is we're like, okay, well, what's your Instagram? And then we're sizing people up based on their following, which is a terrible way to determine whether somebody is, one, good at what they do, smart, worthy of friendship. Like, that's so silly. And I just am like, I don't want to play that game anymore.
It is. And I have so many friends who aren't like consistent content creators. And I think that they could be amazing. And I love their life. I love like the things that they share with me. So their social media is not a correct representation of
who they
them.
are, right?
Yeah. So it's like, how can we judge off of social media? But when I do see something I like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my girl. So when I saw you, I was like, oh yeah, like, yeah.
So we
she's
kicked
dope.
it in a group of like women at this conference that was predominantly Caucasian.
Right. But
We had a group of like black girls and we had so much fun. And then we kind of went our separate ways and I didn't really talk to you again like after that.
But do you remember we went to lunch and it was like a horrible experience like in itself?
Yes, that was a bad lunch.
But yeah, it was crazy. We remember we were like, they were colorists. for sure.
And our food like took like 13 hours to come. It was
awful.
And then it wasn't good.
But I remember you opening up to me at the table, and I was just like, wow, she's really cool. And then you showed me your fashion evolution.
Yeah,
and I was just getting so inspired. Yeah.
Aww.
So we had that moment for sure.
Yeah. And then we had that last moment on the trip where we went out and created content, because most people there were like travel. And I feel like we really like made a connection there. But what is funny to me is that when we left, we didn't really keep the friendship up.
But you gave me this necklace, girl. I looked this up online because I was like, oh, this is so cute. Let me tag the company. And this is like a $500 necklace. And I'm like, she didn't even know me.
I didn't know you, and I had just gotten the necklace. I had only had it for like a month. And I remember it was a couple days before, because we were in Puerto Rico for like a couple days, like a week. And I remember you were like, that's such a cute necklace. And I was like, thank you. And then I wore it, like, and then the last day I just felt the Lord say, give her the necklace. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I took it off and put it on your neck.
Wow.
And here we are.
You've
been wearing it since too.
I have only taken it off like if I wear like another like big necklace. Otherwise, this is like my everyday necklace.
So that's our story.
Of
how we met.
Yeah.
And now you're one of my best friends.
Oh, yes. You're one of my best friends too.
Yeah. It's been good.
Yeah. It is really good. So today we want to like kind of talk about something that basically from this date deck card, you said you wanted to get off your chest that you're tired of like the rat race, the chase. So today we're going to be talking about abandoning the hustle culture and what that looks like, what that can look like for you, and what it's looking like for us as we're still navigating it. We haven't like figured it out.
No.
And I don't know if we ever will. It's kind of just like you always have to come back to like, all right, slow down. It's like a constant reminder.
It's a practice. It's like, oh wait, I'm not eating that right now because I'm trying to lose weight. It's that same kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So what does abandoning the hustle culture mean?
I think if you would have asked me this maybe 7 months ago, my answer would have been different. I would have been like, girl, it's just, I'm not trying to keep up. I'm not going to do this. But for me now, it feels like getting back to the main thing, like getting back to the heart of the matter. And for me, that means recalibrating my heart to what God has in mind for me. And instead of like chasing after my own goals and my own wants and the things that I thought would make me bigger, it's like actually going smaller, lower, and asking God to increase me for him. Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. I think that is spiritual maturity to be able to come to that point.
Child, I had to get beat up for that.
Yeah. That's hard because it's literally like you're ridding yourself of yourself.
Yeah, I didn't actually pursue that either. Like I wasn't like, I want to do this. What happened was, for a lot of different reasons, I started reading the Bible. And I started reading the Bible in late December. And I've been a Christian since I was 19. So I grew up in the church. Like I know all the Bible stories, but here I'm at the big age of 41. I was like, wait a minute. Why wasn't Moses allowed into the promised land? Like I had all these like gaps in these stories where I didn't understand what actually was happening, because I've been the kind of Christian that has like taken all of my lessons and educations from everybody else's interpretation. So like sermons, podcasts, which those things are great, but I really hadn't taken the time to like sit down and like read God's word. And so coming into 2024, I've been in small business for 16 years. So I always have goals. I'm always like have vision. Like there was nothing. I had nothing. And all I heard from God was like, read this Bible. Yeah. And so I started reading the Bible, and the more that I came to understand God and just understand like his character and how he works, the more I started to understand what was important to him. And one of the things that I kept seeing was like, you've got to observe my Sabbath. Well, it was like, don't put any other gods before me. Right. Comes up all the time. Yeah. God is serious about that. Yeah. God doesn't really like repeat himself a lot in the Bible, but when it comes to idols, he don't play about that. And when it comes to rest, he doesn't play about that. Right. Like he's so serious about rest. And I remember texting you one day and I'm like, Jordan, God is always talking about rest in the Bible. Like, we need a rest. Like, are you observing the Sabbath? And you were like, not real, kind of. Yeah.
Like I went to church. That's what I used to think the Sabbath was go to church, spend time with the family, relax. But that's not necessarily what the Sabbath is. It's not just going to church.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wasn't, because I mean, I don't go to church. I go to my Bible every day, but I don't do those things. And so,
but you gonna find a church home,
baby.
We're working on a church home for you.
I'm going to church on Sunday. What are you talking about?
You are. Yeah.
We had a deal. I was like, we do this podcast, I'm gonna go to church on Sunday. So here we are.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a church.
And it's not that she hates church.
No, I love church.
But everyone's had their experience with churches. But we gonna find you a church.
Yeah,
home.
I mean, I've gone to some of the best churches in the country.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you know, church is something, and a lot of people deal with that. And so we walk away from church. We walk away from God because we're frustrated with church, forgetting that the church is people.
Yeah.
And that every church is going to have something, because people have something.
For sure. This is like a complete side note, but one of my friends said the people that should really be church hurt is the pastor.
For real.
Because all these people just leave because they're hurt by somebody else in the church, and nobody's perfect, but the pastor. And I've seen pastors with church hurt where like they're you could tell they're like bringing the last bits of themselves to the pulpit, and they're just like laying it out, and people still walk out and be like,
you know, pastoring is like probably like being a therapist, and you have to figure out a way to like meet with your client, but like leave it in the meeting and not take it on. Yeah. Like, could you imagine? So like a pastor every week has thousands of people coming in for therapy at the same time. And
knowing some of them going back into the same situation.
Honestly, and they're dropping it off, and then they've got to pick up the pieces of that. I can't imagine the burden of being a pastor.
It's a burden.
It's a call for sure.
Yeah. It ain't my call.
Baby, not mine either.
Watch God call us.
I'm gonna be running. I'm gonna be like Jacob, like nah, like Moses. I'm out.
Not me. This is our call. It's our ministry right here.
Yeah.
But okay, so back to abandoning the hustle, and it is like a culture. It's a hustle culture. So what do we? What is? Or let me say this. Like, what does it look like for you to take your Sabbath now? What does that look like? And does it have to be on Sunday?
Well, why don't you, first of all, tell the people what a Sabbath is? What does that look like? What is the call?
Okay. Well, it's, you know, take your Sabbath day and make it holy, right? So that means like don't labor, right? I've even thought of cooking as a chore. So there have been times I don't always do it, but sometimes I will we'll go out to eat, or I'll prep something the day before. We'll eat leftovers. But even that, I'm like, man, like I don't even want to be in the kitchen.
Well, you're not supposed to be. I mean, in the Bible, okay, this is how we know. She been
Here
reading.
She been reading her word.
This is what happens. We'll be talking about someone like Jordan, but did you see that in the Bible it says? And actually, I'm so proud because
I'm proud of you too.
I would never have been able to do that before.
Yeah.
But when the Israelites left Egypt, and God was providing manna God provided the food for them when they were in the desert. He would send it down. You know that, right? And on Friday, He would send a double portion, so that on Saturday there would be no manna.
That's good.
There'd be no manna that would come from the heaven.
Okay.
And so He would send just enough for the day. And He said at the end of the day, like you weren't supposed to eat anything because it wasn't good. Like we're done, right?
Right.
And then He said on Friday, I'm going to send a double portion because I'm not going to send it on Sabbath. And so that's the only bread.
Because even He's resting.
That's right.
Even though he don't need rest.
He
But
don't
even
need, but
he's like, I'm gonna send this ahead of time.
Yeah, no. And the thing about God, right? Whatever He asked us to do, He's done Himself.
He's done Himself. Yeah.
First.
He rested on the seventh day.
So baby, He was like, look, y'all, I'm gonna send this, and so you're not working, I'm not working. You're gonna have enough. You're gonna have more than enough, and that's how we gonna rock. And then you're gonna go back to work after the Sabbath.
Get this. Every Friday, God is answering your prayers for the next day. It's already done. Because he gonna take his
big
day
brain.
of rest.
That's big brain. You right, girl.
Because He's taking His day of rest. So He's going ahead of you. The Bible says He goes ahead and before us, right? And behind us. So He goes ahead. He answers the prayers. He already knows your prayer request. He knows your thoughts, right? So He answers it.
And you already ready.
And then the next day comes and you can rest assured knowing that
He's already took care of it. Won't He do it? That was a revelation for us right now. Yo, that was good.
Knowing the word. You be in the word.
Stop it.
You be in the word.
You're gonna make me cry too. Both crying. Yo, the Bible has changed my life. Like I've known God, but like I'm learning him in such a different way in this season. And like, you know how it's been, but it's like the confidence that I have because I've been in my word and I can go, wait a minute, but God did that. Like, or I can pull it up to like, that's why we have to read the Bible, because we need it. We need it to remind ourselves of what God stands for and who he is and what he'll do for us.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wish I would have known that so much earlier. I feel like I would have saved myself so much, but I needed it now.
Yeah.
So he also knows that.
He does. And it's like some of the things that you've gone through.
I can't believe you started crying. Now you got me crying. We about to be ugly.
Sorry. I know. It's okay. It's just going to be real and raw. It's fine. I cried earlier when I was worshiping. You were in the bathroom getting ready. I was out here boohooing.
Really?
In worship. Yeah. I was on the couch. It like soaking in the presence. Yeah. So, man, I'm just really glad that you're where you are, because I look to you as an equal, but I also look up to you. So that's why I'm like, Tosh, what do you think about this? Like when the word says this, like you know my mom, you know my auntie, you know, like I don't even want to say you're my big sister.
I mean, I could be though.
You could be. You could be.
She old now.
You could be my big sister, but it's like I don't know. I really look up to you, but I also see you as someone who's like right here with me. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I feel that way
but
too.
I'm so glad that you have gone through some of the things you've gone through, because I'd be like, dang, thank God you telling me this, because now I know, and I'm not gonna like allow that to happen, or this person to come into my life, or this, you know what I mean? Because obviously I hate that you had to go through some of the things you've been through, but I've learned so much from that. And I feel like that makes me wiser, because you have, you know, you're so wise. And
I feel like that's the beauty of it. It's kind of like your test is your testimony. Like people say that and you're just like, ugh, like I don't want this to be a testimony. But now I can see like, man, this is so it's so important. Mentorship is so important, right? Like it's so important for the older women to speak into the younger women. And it's also really important for the younger women to show the older women like what to do too. There's like wisdom is cyclical. It goes all the way around. Yeah. And so while I have shared so much with you, you've also shared so much with me and motivated me and pulled things out of me. And I also like really respect and look up to you. And so, I think what we're missing a lot in this world is transparency and vulnerability.
Like true,
for real,
transparency and vulnerability.
And then also just this, women sometimes like forget like our call is to steward up young women and like make life easier, give them the thing, you know. And I wish there were more women who were older than me that were speaking into my life and be like, baby, you don't want to do that. Yeah. That's not the way. Or I know you got to figure it out on your own, but let me share a little bit about what has happened in my life and why you should maybe think about this. Yeah. I think that's so important. So that means a lot to me. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any, like, let's first talk about, I'm big on practical tips. Like what are practical tips that people can start doing to take their Sabbath? And let me say this, taking a Sabbath, like when we really started observing it and like saying like, no, we're resting, it was really hard for me. I would literally be like this, like pressing my hands together, like, don't touch your phone. Do not post. Do not write that email. Do not schedule that thing. Do not look at your planner, you know? And sometimes I'll wait to the very, like the most I'll do is like the end of the night, I'll write down like, oh, what does tomorrow look like for me? That's the most I'll do. But it was so hard for me the first couple Sundays to like not. So what are practical tips that you can give people to take their Sabbath and make it holy?
I think the biggest thing around like letting something go or releasing something is giving up control. And I think the reason why we don't want to take our Sabbath is because we feel like if we give God this day, that we're going to miss out on something or that something's going to pass us by. And that for me is just a lack of trust that God can't take the little bit of time that we have and multiply it. Yeah. You know? And so I think the biggest thing is like just getting your mind in the right place of like trusting God. Yeah. And trusting that God is truly in control of time. and that the way that God uses time is not the way that we see it.
Right. No, that's so good.
Because God can do in a short time what we would labor for over 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, and
No, that's
so
true.
our time and our Sabbath is like 10%. It's like 10% of anything. Like if you're tithing, well, this is our life. These are our days that we live, and it's giving God 10%. It's giving God one day of the time that he gave to us. It's not even our time. It's his time.
It's not. So I was doing a devotional recently with Jackie Hill Perry, and
that's your girl.
That's my girl. Okay. That's my girl. But I told you I'd die on that hill.
I know.
Until Jesus says no. Like
I know. That's your girl.
Yeah.
Jackie, if you're out there.
But she did this. She was talking about how, you know, maybe the Sabbath isn't just one day. Maybe it's a daily practice. And so the other day I was so tired, like I was last night. I was so tired. And I was like, Lord, I'm going to trust you with my rest, and I'm going to take a nap. I took like an hour nap and woke up, and there were some things that I had in my inbox that I needed to fill out, like applications for brand deals and things like that. Mm-hmm. So I go in to fill it out, and it's like, sorry, this application is all filled, or this campaign is filled. And I was like, Lord, I trusted you. And I'm like, man. and so I opened up the YouTube app. Girl, why did I grow literally like 8,000 subscribers that makes no sense.
While you were sleeping.
While I was sleeping. I hit 10K while I was sleeping, you know? And I'm
that.
and I'm like, Lord, I'm sorry for getting upset and like being so self-righteous to be like, what? I didn't get this campaign. Yeah, but I gave you more people for my glory.
Right.
For you to
and
share.
that's the other thing too, right? It's like the thing that we're pursuing may not even be the thing that God is pursuing for us, right? Yeah. Or wanting for us. And so I think it's also just being like, oh, well.
Yeah. No.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, well. And just like trusting him, like with the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Like that's what it is for me, is like believing God can do the best thing, but trusting him with what in my mind is the worst case, even though that's good for me, right. You know?
Yeah.
Trust God with the worst case scenario that's in your brain.
Because he's going to use it anyway. Again, reading the Bible, right?
Yeah.
All of God's worst case scenarios happened, and he had provision for all of those things.
Yeah. He
knew that we were going to need Jesus when he was in the garden with Adam and Eve. And he made a plan for all of that. Mm-hmm. And every person that messed up, when Joseph was sold, he made provision for that and put him in jail with the right people that would put his name in rooms. Mm-hmm. When Jacob was wrestling, and, you know, like every story in the Bible where someone did something off, Ishmael and Isaac, like he's made provisions for everything.
Yeah.
Which means like if he could do all of that everybody in the Bible messed up.
Everybody.
David, Peter, Judas, everybody. And he had a plan for them and was able to bring them back into grace. Like, why wouldn't he do that for us?
Yeah, that's good. So we're going to get into some more practical steps.
So the first thing is like, no matter what, I'm trusting God with my time, which means I can take this rest and have the freedom and the peace to know that this is actually an obedience. Yeah. That this is a part of the plan. Yeah. It may not be a part of my plan.
Right.
But it's a part of God's plan.
God's plan.
And he's going to honor that.
Right. So you're putting your phone away. Do not disturb. What are you doing with your kids?
I'm present with my family.
Yeah.
And I love what Jackie Hill Perry said about every day can be Sabbath, because I've started living like that. Like every day I go to the Bible first. Mm-hmm. I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I drink some water, and then I go and I get in my word. And I love that, because what I've learned, I remember this moment when I had this revelation about seek ye first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added unto you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I get it now, because it's like when you're seeking God first, you actually don't even need the other stuff. Right. Because you're getting everything you need from seeking God. So then it's like all the stuff that's being added is everything else that we enjoy. Yeah. Because when you're built up in the word and you're built up in God and you know who you are, everything is extra.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because it's like, delight yourself in the Lord. He'll give you all the desires of your heart. But when you're delighted in him, he changes the desires of your heart. So they match.
Bro, that was like, what?
Yeah.
Like I just did. I remember the moment when I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what this means.
It makes sense.
Cause I'd be like, I want to read the Bible. I mean, you see, like I'm always kind of reaching for it. I'm always talking about like, I know, I'm just like, it's so good.
It's alive. It's living.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah. So reading the word, like really reading the word. For real. And we'll also have to get into like how to read the word, because I feel like, you know, you've been like diving in from start to finish.
Yeah.
And but Tosh, we have to do like a part 2 at some point because we're running out of time. So can you tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at It's Tosh Haynes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Go to Jordan's page. One day she'll put a picture of me. We'll have a soft launch.
I know. We're gonna. No, I'm gonna post a video of us at some point soon.
At some point.
Yeah.
Cool.
Y'all,
not on the Sabbath though.
Not on the Sabbath. I'll schedule it out in advance.
There we go.
Thank y'all so much for watching another episode of Setting the Tone with Jordan. Thank you for listening. Be sure to rate the podcast, like, review, subscribe, all the things, and we'll see you next time.